Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Tuesday and we're talking AEW Dynamite because tonight was Title Tuesday Dynamite, as they called it, because, well, internet is bogging for a second. We should be fine though. We got a little quick hiccup, but we should be fine. Yep, we're good. Okay, cool. That was weird. Anyways, we got Dynamite to talk about. Luke and I also saw bits and pieces of NXT, so if there was anything that stood out to us, we'll talk about that as well at the end. The first thing I do have to say is prayers for Hangman. We don't know exactly what happened. He took that big-ass clothesline from Jon Moxley. He did like the flip like he normally does from the big clotheslines, but he didn't fully finish the rotation and then like landed on his side. So I don't know what really happened. And so all we can do is just hope for the best. But when you have somebody like MJF tweeting out prayers for Hangman, that's out of character for him. Because even on Twitter, he tries to stay in character. You know it's serious. When they're loosening the bottom ropes because, what's the word I'm looking for? When they're loosening the bottom ropes to get him out of the ring, you know it's real, because if it was just a storyline, they'll just slide him under there. He hits the rope, whatever. But one good thing I can say is we have seen a couple different videos from ringside, and you can see Hangman talking. Like, you can see his mouth moving when Doc Samson is speaking to him. So that is a good sign. And I'll try to keep refreshing Twitter and seeing if I get any messages about anything throughout this review and podcast. But Luke, what did you think of the main event and how it ended?
It's scary, like kind of stuff does happen. And like all we can do is like hope for the best for Hangman. I mean, I've already seen people on Twitter like blaming Moxley for him being unsafe, but kind of stuff happens. I mean,
Exactly.
if it turns into a habit to where like Moxley's like constantly like hurting people, yeah, like you could say something. But if it's just like a one-time thing, like that kind of stuff does happen. So right now, all we gotta do is just for the best for Hangman. Hope he gets better, and yeah, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, like you said, you can't blame Moxley. There's no, what's the word? What did you say? There's no like habit of it or whatever of people getting hurt in Moxley matches. The only habit of a Moxley match is he's got to make sure he's bleeding before the 5-minute mark. So again, hope for the best. And if we hear anything throughout this, we'll bring you guys any update we can find. I'm keeping Twitter refreshing. I'm keeping my, DMs open as far as like my tab right here. So I always see it in case I get anything. But, I need to send one message really fast. All right, cool. Yeah, everybody, even Mick Foley sent out prayers. What did Mick Foley say? Mick Foley tweeted out, prayers for Adam Page. Yeah, Mick Foley even tweeted it. So,
Big E just tweeted as well.
Oh, wow. But I mean, it was a really good main event up to that point. And then there's 9 minutes left in the show, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, this isn't storyline. Because you can think, oh, well, they do a he's hurt storyline, so he doesn't have to get beat in case they need to keep Hangman strong for something. But that's not what I believe this is at all. But with that, I do want to say thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or thank you if you're watching or listening later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime or access to anybody's Amazon Prime account, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things. They give you free games. They give you free stuff for games. And they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But don't just do it to support us. Do it for yourself to get games like Fallout 76 The Pit, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, Total Warhammer 2, Loom, and so many more. Also, remember, if you are watching on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well by becoming a channel member. Hit the join button. You'll get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming one of the free games or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse, use our code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout. And you'll be supporting us at no extra cost. I mean, even if you're claiming the free games, that doesn't cost you anything. It's still going to ask you if you have an Epic Creator Code. You put in the code PW Unlimited. That's PWU NLIMITED. Takes you an extra 10 to 15 seconds to type that in, and you're supporting us and not having to pay anything extra. But with that, we've got Dynamite to talk about that kicked off with title match, the Trios Championship. I thought it was a good match, but I didn't think, and I want to know what you thought, Luke, though, but I didn't think this match was anything special. I just thought it was just a regular, normal six-man we've seen before.
I mean, yeah, it was a regular match as well, but also there was one part of the match that was very interesting, which we can talk about that during. Maybe it could lead to something important.
What was that you're talking about?
It was the back when he had the, what was that called? Like the
hammer
thing, you ring the bell. Yeah, the hammer, and then Phoenix took it out of his hand.
True, that could be a thing.
Maybe that could lead to something.
Yeah.
So
as far as the match does
that was the only thing.
Go for it.
That was the only thing that grabbed my attention. Other than that, it just felt like a regular trios match.
Exactly. But as far as the match does go, Pac immediately kicked Cassidy off the apron at the bell for some revenge, I guess you could say, from last week, as he and Trent had a fast opening sequence to kick off the match. There was some action early on. Trent and Chuck Taylor hit an assisted Razor's Edge into a powerbomb, but Death Triangle quickly regained control with dives to the floor. Cassidy found himself isolated in the corner until it led to a huge Tower of Doom moment where everybody was down for a moment. Pac then trash-talked Orange Cassidy and hit a series of kicks until Cassidy popped off of a stun dog millionaire. This led to a series of high-impact moves from each man, culminating in Trent's Tornado DDT onto Phoenix. Cassidy tried a double Hurricane Rana on Phoenix and Penta, who held on, and Pac hit a low drop kick. There was a Cazadora lung blower, double stomp combo, and Cassidy got a 2 as Taylor made the save. Taylor and Trent then saved their partner from Pac's Black Arrow and hit a Soul Food release German suplex for a 2, I think it was. They didn't get the pin, but I think it was a 2. Chuck and Trent then connected with multiple pile drivers as Cassidy did the assisted splash on Pac for a 2. Penta and Phoenix saved their partner as Pac went for the hammer yet again, and as Luke alluded to, Phoenix stopped him from using the hammer. So I don't know if maybe he's telling him, don't do it because we're not heels, or don't do it because, look, it didn't work out for you last week, so why keep doing it? I don't know. Cassidy fired off an orange punch on Pac, but Penta went for a setup destroyer. Trent blocked and hit a strong 0 for a 2. Phoenix made the save and would put Trent away with a sit-out driver to retain the 6-man tag team championships. After the match, Phoenix and Pac got into a brief little scuffle, though. I think this was still over Pac wanting to use the hammer, but it was quickly squashed as Death Triangle held their titles in the air. I mean, it was one of those boom, 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 quick, fast-paced match kind of deals, but it just, other than the whole tension with the hammer thing, nothing else really stood out to me.
I mean, maybe the hammer part, tonight, obviously, it's probably just going to be just a quick shuffle, then boom, it's over. I think maybe later, here's what I think could happen. I think maybe in the future, they defend their titles, maybe like Pac and Phoenix get into an argument that ends up like costing them the match and their titles.
Yeah.
Maybe that can end up Pac like beating the crap out of Phoenix. That can end up maybe like Pac versus Phoenix or Pac versus Penta.
Now, what I would really have liked, but they're not going to do it now, if, like you're saying, something happens where he wants to use the hammer, Phoenix stops him, and it costs them the match because the distraction of the hammer and this and that. What would have been cool, though, is they lose the 6-man titles because of all of this. If Pac was still the All-Atlantic champion, then that could have led to Pac versus Phoenix for the All-Atlantic title. That would have been a cool way to do it. But Orange Cassidy's got that belt that he carries around in a backpack. Because they say he doesn't like to carry things, so he puts it in a backpack. But as we move forward, there was a video package of Jon Moxley and Hangman Page with footage from last... What's up?
You were muted that entire time when you were talking.
I'm muted. I'm not muted.
You were muted, though.
What?
After I got done talking.
Very interesting. You can hear me now?
I can hear you now, but like after I got done saying like my thoughts, like I think you were saying your thoughts, but you were muted. You're good to go now.
That's weird because it shows me it's still picking up my audio here. Huh. Basically what I was saying was...
Now you're fine.
All right, cool.
Now you're fine.
Hold on, I'm going to unplug my mic and plug it back in just to be safe. All right, let's see if we have any more hiccups. Like, goddamn. But basically what I was saying was it would have been cool if maybe they got the 6-man titles. Like you said, the hammer thing screws them because he wants to use it again and this and that. It would have been cool if Pac still had the All-Atlantic title, and this could have led to like Pac and Phoenix for the All-Atlantic title.
I definitely agree with that.
Moving forward, there's a video package, Jon Moxley and Hangman Page. They showed footage from last year. Page knocking Moxley off the ladder in the casino ladder match. As Page said, Mox broke first, not him, as mentioned last week in his promo. Tony Schiavone was backstage with an interested party for the AEW Women's World Title or Interim World Title match as Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel. They said one of them will be the Women's World Champion as Tony's time is over. We had Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Interim World Championship. I mean, it was a good match, but I wouldn't call it great or anything. I think these two worked very well together, but again, just like in the first... Go for it.
The question is, how did Hikaru Shida like earn this match? If I missed something, I don't know how she earned it.
Oh, no, she was just giving it. Tony just said, I want to give her a shot. That's basically all it was. Just like when Swerve and our glory... Go for it.
Unless like she was like first in the rankings, I mean, maybe, but like if it was just she was given the match.
Yeah, I think the rankings are kind of like done. I'm going to look at something really fast. Like they still mention them kind of, but if I'm... Hold on. Yeah, they don't even post the rankings. They used to post the rankings every Wednesday morning. So you would think they would post the rankings today. Nothing. So the rankings get mentioned briefly kind of sometimes, but they never post them anymore, which means that they don't really matter. But I think this is just like with like Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed. Oh, we want to give you a title shot. Toni Storm wanted to give her a title shot. So, whatever. But like I said, with the opening match, this match to me as well, it was a good match, but it didn't feel special. It just felt like Toni Storm versus Shida. And if you told me that, if you would have just told me, oh, that was just a regular match, title wasn't on the line, I would have believed you because it didn't have the intensity of it being a title match. It just felt like a match, a good match, but just a match with no importance. Which really sucks. As far as the match,
takes out the fun and takes out the fun, like watching some matches.
Like for sure. So as far as the match does go, Excalibur said in singles, said this singles match is 10 years in the making because they've wrestled all through Japan and stuff. And apparently in 2013, they teamed together in Japan. Taz informed us that this is Shida's first title opportunity in close to 16 months. There's a fast-paced back-and-forth action to start the match off that led to Shida connecting with a dropkick. But played to the crowd too long, she did, and Storm sent her crashing to the floor. Storm kept Shida grounded in the ring during the entire picture-in-picture break, which the TBS app actually showed. Usually they cut away, but they actually showed it this time. That was until Shida made her comeback with a Hurricane Rana and a jumping knee. There were 10 corner punches from Shida that led to a slugfest until Shida hit an enziguri for a double down spot. Storm then cut off Shida from going to the top and teased an Avalanche Storm Zero that she used to defeat Serena Deeb a few weeks back, but Shida knocked her down and hit a Meteora for a 2. Storm floated over a Falcon Arrow, avoided a setup kick, and hit a release German suplex and a sweet chin music in the corner. Shida blocked a Tornado DDT with sort of a Falcon Arrow for a close near fall. Storm blocked a Katana, but Shida nearly got the win off of a roll-up. Shida escaped a rolling German suplex, but couldn't avoid a Snap Tornado DDT and the Storm Zero, which allowed Toni Storm to retain the title. The crowd was hot for the match. The crowd liked it. But like I said, to me, it didn't feel like there was a big importance of the title being on the line.
I mean, yeah, and it was pretty expected that Tony was going to win.
Yeah,
because they're going to keep that. They're going to keep that title on her until like Thunder Rosa comes back, and then they'll do Tony versus Rosa. Then probably just have Tony beat Rosa.
I mean, she was supposed to beat her at the pay-per-view before the match got canceled. So now the interesting thing though was the post-match. So after the match, Jamie Hayter and Rebel come in, start beating down on Toni Storm. They got a crutch and whatnot. Britt Baker make her way out to the ring. She's wearing a Steelers jersey. Before she can get into the ring, Saraya comes out. Saraya walks out onto the stage and then runs down the ramp, jumps Britt Baker, and starts brawling with her. Like, hey, this is the first time probably since like 2017 we have seen Saraya get physical on anything, in any show, any company. So this basically does
physical on AEW before.
Was that really getting physical though? I mean, in this one, she literally jumped on Britt and was throwing punches.
I mean, yeah, she was more physical though, but she actually, I mean, did some stuff that she would not do when she wasn't like cleared to wrestle.
I don't know. I just feel like I think, well, maybe I'm just not remembering it correctly, but I thought she just like shoved Britt and that was kind of it last time. This one, she actually fucking brawled with her. Unless I'm just not fully thinking of it right. But they brawled.
I have to rewatch that first one.
Yeah, they brawl into the crowd. Jamie Hayter and Rebel are still beating on Toni Storm, and out would come the returning Riho. Riho would come down, take out Rebel, throw Jamie Hayter out of the ring, dive off the top to Jamie Hayter on the outside, and then her and Toni Storm hugged it out in the middle of the ring. So there we go. There's a video package highlighting the Kingdom, or the OGK, whatever you want to call them. No, well, they say we are the OGK, but really call us the Kingdom. They debuted last week on Rampage. It's Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Maria Kanellis Bennett. They said, while we also heard words from Wardlow and Samoa Joe about making the wrong decision. So I expected that match to happen soon. Taven and Bennett against Warjoe. Warjoe is what they call him. Kind of a dumbass name, but whatever. Renee Paquette.
To me, I mean, I don't like that they're teaming together. I mean, to me, I kind of just feels like Tony Khan just put them together. It's like, hey, these two guys will probably be a cool tag team. Let's put them together.
Oh, Wardlow and Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. But the weird thing is that he's criticized WWE for slapping random people together that didn't make sense, and now he does it. I mean, he did it with these two. Swerve and Our Glory were two random guys slapped together. So, I mean, yeah, whatever.
What I'm going to say is, like, if you're going to, like, sign a wrestler, like, you better have a plan for him, though.
True.
It's kind of how I felt when he signed Lee and Swerve. Those
Yeah,
are two guys that I kind of felt like, well, I just want to have them in our company. Don't really know what to do with them, so let's put them together.
exactly. But we then go backstage. Renee with FTR. They ran down their resume from this past year and asked if there's more hardware. She asked them if there's more hardware they want to add to their collection. Hardware listed their challengers for the titles they hold, but ultimately said that they also want the AEW World Tag titles. I think it was Cash was like, we need to become 2-time world champions to legitimize ourselves when they were interrupted by Swerve in Our Glory. Swerve was going on about how you guys keep saying you're the number one contenders for months and months and months, yet you go into other companies and winning belts and doing things and not even trying. When we're here, former champions trying to get our titles back. Keith Lee then comes up and was eating an apple. Swerve takes the apple from him, whatever. And he's like, no. I think these guys have a right to be upset. They've been the number one contenders. They haven't got the opportunity. So maybe they should fight us. Figure out who should really be going for these titles next. So next week, it will be FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. That match is going to be great. I can't wait.
I think FTR is probably going to have to win that.
I think so, too. And we got Alex Marvez, who, why the hell is this guy still around? He is so just, I am now here with Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Darby Allin. Like, come on, guy. Come on. He was backstage with Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Darby Allin, as Lethal wanted a rematch with Allin and said he would beat him again and again and again. Dutt said that they were in contact, this is weird, with somebody who knows Darby's weakness. And they now know what Darby's weakness is as well. That was a weird one. They would go on to then attack Darby, trapping him under the steel door, the little garage door, and Lethal put him in the figure 4. Security then broke all of this up, and Lethal and Dutt ran away. No Satnam Singh, which was interesting.
Sting at.
Yeah, no Sting either. I didn't think about that. I don't know. Huh. Moving forward, Tony Schiavone was in the ring with Lord William Regal. He got a couple of words out, and then out came MJF. MJF told him to, MJF came out to the ring as Regal took out his brass knucks, and MJF said, put him away, as he owes MJF time to tell his story. And MJF told an incredible story. Like, this was, we say it all the time, MJF, wow, next level. No, this was it. This was freaking fantastic. Not just the way he told the story with so much detail, but the emotion that he told within this story. MJF said when he was 19 years old, he started training for professional wrestling, and he was informed by his trainers that he was going to get some extra work in WWE at the Barclays Center. Now, we've seen different things that he's done. He's been security for Samoa Joe's entrance in WWE. We've also seen him work as security during, I forget what segment it actually was, but there was a, what's it called? Talking Smack, where you can see him as security as well. He said, go for it.
I think he also, like, one of the people that posted a video for, like, Enough in 2015.
Yes. He did one of the online submissions for Tough Enough. Yes. So he said the extras were introduced to Regal at the tryout. There was others there like Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and Anna Pierce. They were having matches. The first two guys went into the ring, didn't last a couple of minutes before Dean Malenko cut him off, said no. He was up. Said he went out there and he had his match and he won his match. He said Regal pulled him aside to a separate room and told him, you have 3 minutes. Sell yourself to me. He said, when I was done with those 3 minutes, your jaw was on the floor after what you had heard. MJF said that Regal asked him his age, but told him, 19? You're just a little too young. He then told him, go out and get more experience. But keep updating me on your progress. Send me matches every month. Send me a promo every month. The crowd started making you fucked up chants, discovering this, basically saying that you fucked up not signing MJF when you had the chance to Regal. He said that Regal told him that he would remember him and put his name on the line eventually once he's old enough, like he did with guys like Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, and Cincinnati's own Jon Moxley. He said that he would get these messages back from Regal, where Regal would say, I like what I see, keep sending me. Second month, he got the same thing. I like what I see, keep sending me. Third month, it all changed, though. He sent him a match. He sent him a promo. Regal then sent him back an email that he has kept and reads every single day, because not only did it deter him at first, but it's his motivating factor to get better. Basically, Regal said that the promo showed his, quote, impressive acting skills, and that's not what we want. MJF said that Regal said that he wasn't one of his high-class talents that WWE would look at. Regal squandered his dreams, he said. MJF said that he was on the verge of tears, or he said as he was on the verge of tears, that reading this email made me want to kill myself. MJF said if he did that, all the naysayers would win. And now, in 2022, the tables have turned and Regal is the old man who got fired. Well, attaching to talent in AEW just to get a job. He said, I am a generational talent. I don't need to attach to anybody. Crowd cheered. And Regal said that he got into this industry when he was 16 years old. He saw something in MJF and wanted to light a fire under him. Regal screamed at MJF, saying if he held on to that email for all these years, then he's had it easy. Every day, you need to practice to become the best. Before he was born, Regal was interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and he never put his hands on someone like MJF did. He said it doesn't matter if you're a bad guy or not. MJF apparently let Regal down. He said, you took shortcuts, hiring people to do your dirty work, using that diamond ring. Regal then turned his back and told MJF, you want to be the devil? Do it. Do it right now. Hit me. MJF put on the ring, but couldn't actually do it. He couldn't find it in himself to hit Regal from behind. Regal turned around, looked disappointed in MJF, and left the ring. This was, oh my God, next level. And not just MJF, but Regal as well. This whole thing was so awesome that if you go back throughout the year and you go, what was the best in-ring segment, non-match deal of 2022? There's legit of saying this could be it. This could be the best in-ring segment of the year. Because both of these men were just phenomenal. Go for it.
Yeah, this segment was absolutely amazing. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens promo when Drew was saying we're wrestlers in a wrestling ring.
A little bit.
Let's just freaking wrestle, because like when MJF was saying like how hard he had to work just like get where he is right now, and like Regal was saying that, you know, I had to work harder than you. If all it took was an email just to motivate you, you wouldn't survive like
right.
I had to do. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the McIntyre Kevin Owens one when Kevin Owens saying how hard he had to work, and then Drew was explaining how much harder he had to work.
Right. But I thought this was fantastic work by both guys, William Regal and MJF. So great. Got another video package showcasing the Ring of Honor title. We saw a quick shot of one Kevin Steen. Also, I do want to say thank you to Rosario9248, who subscribed with a tier 1 subscription on Twitch for 20 months. Really appreciate that. We got a quick introduction to who Dalton Castle is, just in case you're unfamiliar with him. Renee Paquette was backstage with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. They welcomed Renee to AEW and said this Friday on Rampage, it's titles versus trademark, as the Acclaimed will put their titles on the line against the varsity athletes Tony Nese and Josh Woods. The Acclaimed stated if they win, they can scissor again. And I'm like, oh, I hate this storyline. But I did like freaking Billy's going like this. Like he wants to do it. And Renee, right before they cut, you see Renee's hand go like that. And she just looks at Billy and just like, don't do it. It ain't worth it. I thought that was great from Renee, where Billy's like, he's like going like this. And she just pushes his hand aside and she looks at him like, don't do it. No, you can't do it. I thought that was out of all this, that was the high point of this promo, this little segment. Renee and Billy Gunn.
Yeah, that was definitely hilarious.
So we got an earlier today thing where we go to Renee Paquette. She's interviewing Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. This was really good, especially the way Yuta got offended by Danielson. So Danielson said last week's loss to Jericho wasn't ideal. Danielson said that he still has high hopes for Daniel Garcia and said with the right guidance could be one of the best wrestlers he's ever seen. He said a lot of people compare Daniel Garcia to me, but Daniel Garcia could be better than I ever was. You see Wheeler Yuta start to get a little offended, start to look like, what the hell are you talking about? He's better than you? Renee then goes, Wheeler, I see a little disgust on your face. What's wrong? And he's like, you're out here praising this guy? You're telling me you didn't see this coming? What he did last week? Claudio and I saw this coming a mile away. Everyone saw it but you. And you're going to praise this man? Yuta then walked off in disgust and disappointment as he felt like he was just let down by his hero. So I think that's good storyline or storytelling of Danielson sees a lot in Garcia, which is fine, but he's got Yuta right there who he's not praising as well, who now feels like, oh, you think he's better than me? But you wanted me in the group. You want him in the group and he won't join you. Now there's a little tension in the Blackpool Combat Club.
Honestly, forgot what I was going to say.
No worries. But this is a good little segment.
Or actually,
go for it.
Actually, though, I remember it now. And like this is just me, like maybe spitballing here for like storyline purposes, but I can honestly see, maybe Garcia was back to Jericho, maybe just to, like act like he's on Jericho's side, really like he's not. That makes sense.
I get it, but I think
And,
that's go for it.
And like maybe like Danielson like knows the whole like thing, but maybe he wants to like just play it out.
I get where you're going, but at the same time, that kind of feels like it's just too much overbooking things where it's like we're supposed to think that Garcia was always going to screw Danielson, but no, we're supposed to, maybe that was all a ruse and they're working together to make you think that. And I just think that making it that would make it, in my opinion, just a smidge too overbooked.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, did the stream just go down? Gosh darn it. Let me double check. The stream may have just gone out. Let me pull it up on my phone. We're still recording, but no. Are we live? We might be still live. Let me double check. We're still live. Let me know in the chat, guys, because it looks like we may have gone down on my end, but I'm not 100% sure. Yep, the stream did go down. Well, crap. We're still recording, though, for YouTube, so that's good. I'm going to reset the stream really fast. We keep recording. Reset the stream. We're coming back on. We're good to go. We're good to go. All right, so we had Jericho, Dalton Castle, Ring of Honor World Title. Ian Riccaboni was on commentary, and Jericho wanted the Code of Honor. But Castle reached into his trunks and flipped them off instead. Also, Dalton Castle got a nice little entrance here with a bunch of boys. They even used the boys as the steps to get him into the ring. So I liked that they used a little fanfare here for Dalton Castle. Just to say, hey, this ain't just any guy. It's the Peacock. Jericho sent Castle to the floor early on, where he shook out the nerves, got fanned by the boys, and ran around the ring. It was mind games. As Castle rolled into the ring with multiple takedowns on Jericho. Caliber informed us the ROH Final Battle pay-per-view will be taking place on December 10th, with tickets going on sale November 4th. So that's cool to know. Castle took both of the boys and hurled them into Jake Hager before grounding Jericho, going into a commercial break. Jericho took control during a picture-in-picture, but Castle fought back only to miss a charging knee to the floor. The boys fanned Castle enough for him to cut off Jericho's springboard dropkick and knock him to the floor instead. Castle hit a low tope and a head scissor as Hager charged at Castle, but the boys swarmed him with some weak punches. one of the boys then took Hager's hat, which caused Hager to hulk up and wipe them both out. The distraction of Castle was momentary as Jericho ultimately got the walls of Jericho on. And they really played this up because Dalton Castle suffered a broken back in the past. So they're really playing it up like his back has never been 100% since then, but he did eventually get to the ropes to break the hold. Rhea Nikabani said it's been a 4-year journey for Castle to overcome that injury and get back to a title shot. Jericho then got in the face of Aubrey Edwards. Jericho tried a lion salt, but Jericho was countered into a German suplex for a 2. Castle blocked a code breaker into a bangerang for a near fall. The crowd was really behind Dalton Castle here as he won a strike challenge. He missed a springboard elbow, and Jericho responded with a brutal Judas effect to pick up the victory. So there we go. Jericho retains the Ring of Honor World title. Thoughts?
That was a decent match. And here's the question. Dalton Castle, former Ring of Honor World Champion.
Mhm.
Jericho says he wants to wipe out every world champion that Ring of Honor had. Question is, who's next?
Well, I don't even think the question is who's next. I think the question is who eventually can't he beat? There's a lot of people that could be next, but it's who can't he beat? I mean, next could be Christopher Daniels. That'd be a fun one. But it's who beats Jericho and takes the title? One person that I keep thinking is the only man to ever be a 3-time Ring of Honor World Champion. That's Adam Cole. Now, Adam Cole's still out with a concussion. But what if Adam Cole wins the belt, beats Jericho, first ever 4-time Ring of Honor World Champion? They're not doing anything, and they weren't really doing a lot with him. Yes, he was a top guy per se. Before he got injured, he just felt like a top guy that they were using to put over more top guys. So now you put him as the Ring of Honor World Champion, and you finally do something with the Ring of Honor where Tony Khan did tease in a recent interview either yesterday or today, he may have good news as far as Ring of Honor TV goes soon. Well, I think go for it.
Can you do something with Ring of Honor on TV? Because I mean, right now, titles kind of feel like they're mean nothing right now, on AEW TV. They need
all
to
of
put those titles back on Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah.
Like we said in the past, it almost feels like participation trophy.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we think about who could be next, though, do we think Jerry Lynn would actually have a match? Because that was from the post match. Do we think Jerry Lynn would actually work a match?
Kind of hard to say, honestly.
Yeah, because Jerry Lynn's last match was, let's see, Jerry Lynn last match. Let's see, when was Jerry Lynn's last actual match? 2013. He hasn't worked a match since 2013. But post-match, Jericho Appreciation Society came out to celebrate as Jericho said that he's destroyed Ring of Honor champions, ring announcers, and now commentators. Angelo Parker and Matt Menard went after Ian Riccaboni and dragged him onto the stage, but former Ring of Honor World Champion and Backstage AEW agent Jerry Lynn came out to make the save. There was a brief stare down, and Jericho attacked him and laid him out with a pile driver on the stage. So, yeah, I don't know if maybe Jerry Lynn's going to come back for one more match with Jericho. I don't know. Jerry Lynn is 59. Say that, and I think, was that a year older than Jericho? Oh, Jericho's 58. Jericho is 51. Why do I keep thinking Jericho's older than he is for some reason? I don't know.
Yeah, he was definitely not 58. He's got to be early 50s.
Jericho's 51.
He just signed a 3-year extension with.
Yep. You know who is? Well, so yeah.
I mean, I would assume he would have retired after that contract is up.
Jericho's 51. Lynn's 59. Hasn't had a match since 2013. So we'll see. I have no clue. Like you said, it's hard to know if that's going to be the next one. But if we look at different Ring of Honor World Champions really fast, who he could have matches with. Eddie
Roosh
Edwards.
would be an easy one.
Yeah. Roosh. Eddie Edwards. Davey Richards. They can't use. Let's see. Nigel McGuinness ain't gonna have another match. They're not gonna use James. I don't know if AEW would use him though. That's a tough one. They've got Matt Taven.
Probably just use him for that one match though.
Maybe they got Matt Taven. He's a former champion. They got Jay Lethal. Christopher Daniels.
Can't use Jay Briscoe, unfortunately.
No.
Not on Ring of Honor. Not on AEW TV, but they could use him for like Ring of Honor TV.
Right. They can't use Kevin Owens. They can't use Seth Rollins. They can't. He's already beat Danielson. I don't think they're going to do Punk here, especially since Punk's out with an injury. Maybe they bring in Loki for one of these matches. Loki's still out there doing stuff. He was the first ever Ring of Honor World Champion. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole.
Where's he wrestling at these days?
Loki's just doing all kinds of stuff. I saw recently he had a match.
MLW World Champion.
Let's see. Loki is wrestling for... Loki's last match was a month ago. House of Glory. He's doing a lot of matches for House of Glory. Yeah, he's got a lot of House of Glory matches in MLW. Well, he actually hasn't worked MLW in a year and a half. Since February 2021. But in the last year, most of the stuff he's done has been for House of Glory. Where I think he's a champion. I know he was at one point. House of Glory, what they call it, the Crown Jewel title or something like that. And then got a highlight video of Jungle Boy Jack Perry from last week. Christian Cage said that we put out Jungle Boy, and now we're putting all the champions on notice. Luchasaurus wants gold. Cool, whatever. Him versus Orange Cassidy, maybe, for the All-Atlantic title. But then we got updated lineups for Rampage this Friday and Dynamite next week. As far as Rampage does go, the Acclaimed will take on the Varsity Athletes with the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line and their trademark. Willow Nightingale will be going one-on-one with Penelope Ford. Roosh will take on Dark Order's 10, Preston Vance. They said that this match is a long time coming. Really? I don't think it really is. Hook will defend the FTW Championship against Ari Davari. And next week on AEW Dynamite, FTR will take on Swerve in Our Glory. The winners become the number one contenders for the AEW World Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Riho will take on Jamie Hayter, and Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia will take on the team of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. They also stated that Bryan Danielson wanted action next week, and he'll get it against Sammy Guevara. Did you hear that Global Titans, who are the ones that's been doing all the Floyd Mayweather fights, want Sammy Guevara to do a celebrity boxing fight for them?
I did not hear that.
Yes, Sammy is being brought into their next Dubai show to do backstage interviews and commentary with the hopes that they can persuade him to do a celebrity boxing fight on their next card, which on a future card. Their next card, which is headlined by Floyd Mayweather, has Bobby Fish fighting on it.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard that, and I was like, what the what? Sammy Guevara going to get knocked the fuck out, and people are going to be happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago, like, I actually really liked Sammy Guevara. Like, back when he did some stuff for, like, Lucha Underground,
Yep.
I actually really liked him. I just feel like ever since he went to AEW, I kind of feel like the fame, like, really changed him.
Well, it's that, and he became friends, like, legit friends with the boss, and just feels like he can do whatever he wants. Got no repercussions in his actions, which we've seen. There was a backstage segment. Jade Cargill demanded Kiera Hogan and Layla Gray tell her where her TBS title is. They said, Nyla ain't here. She'll be a Rampage, though. Jade looked into the camera and told Tony Khan that she'll hijack his show for 60 minutes if Nyla don't give back the title. Then go into our main event. Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Adam Hangman Page. And as we talked about earlier, Give me 1 second. I gotta respond to a message. Got
I
it.
think we forgot about something real quick.
What up? What did we miss?
Hot Rod Bubba said, dude, we forgot about Jade Cargill.
I just talked about that. Was I muted again?
Oh.
Did I not just talk about that?
I don't think we did.
I literally just ran down the whole thing. Was I muted? Did you not hear me talk about Jade?
I didn't hear it.
Was I freaking muted again? Mother sucker. Basically, I said the whole thing.
I don't think you were, but I don't think you were. Maybe I missed it. I don't know.
Oh, I literally just said, backstage segment, Jade Cargill told Kiera Hogan and Layla Gray get her title. They said, Nyla's not here, but she'll be at Rampage. Nyla then looked directly in the camera and said, hey, Tony Khan, I'm going to hijack your show for 60 minutes if I don't get my title back. There we go. I literally just ran that whole thing down. Anyways, main event. Jon Moxley, Hangman Page, ultimately, unfortunately, ended with referee stoppage. This sucks. We don't know what's going on with Hangman. There's really been no updates yet other than he was taken from the ring by stretcher and they had to loosen the bottom ropes to get him out safely. Great match, though. And unlike the other title matches on this show, this match felt like there was stakes. Regal was on commentary, and the match technically started in the crowd. Hangman did not want to let Moxley get to the ring before they started to brawl. Fighting in the crowd, and basically Hangman climbs up onto this little scaffolding area, like a little entrance above. There's like 2 platforms. He gets on top, moonsaults right off onto Moxley as we go to commercial break. The two continue their brawl in the fans during the commercial. No surprise there. They get to the ring and Moxley's bleeding. Match officially begins as we come back from break. Moxley connected with a dive through the ropes, but Page reversed a whip into the steps. Taz then asked Regal for comments about what happened with MJF earlier. Regal declined to speak about it. Moxley continued to dare Page to hit him, and the champ obliged. Busting Moxley open even more. Moxley bleeding like crazy. So at one point, where was I? Oh, my notes just froze. Give me 1 second to refresh the page. Page stepped back briefly, which allowed Moxley to quickly apply the figure 4 leg lock, playing on last week's promo of how Page hesitates in big moments. Page got to the ropes, and both men traded strikes until Moxley took a hard corner buckle. Page then kipped up and posed for the crowd and immediately ate a cutter from Moxley, who poured on the offense with a superplex for a 2. Moxley stomped down at the face of Hangman Page and tried to cross arm breaker him, but Page got to the ropes quickly. Camera then cut where MJF was sitting and he's no longer there. We had seen earlier MJF up in the suite. Cut back, no MJF. He's gone. To keep fighting, and Page hit a dead eye on the apron as we go to another commercial break. Page briefly had a single-legged crab applied when we came back, but Moxley countered into a crossface to regain control. Moxley posted himself off the corner, but both men started slugging it out. Page hit an avalanche fall-away slam for a 2. There was a series of big move counters by both that led to Page hitting a lariat. Y'all good? See him moving around there. Don't hear ya. Can't hear ya. I can see you're talking, but I don't hear you. He fixes that. We'll get back to the match. Just cut me off when you're good to go. Where was Avalanche? Fall away slam for a 2 by Page. There's a series of big move counters by both that led to Page hitting a lariat. But Moxley popped up and turned the challenger inside out with one of his own. Page apparently hurt here. Maybe knocked out. I don't know. I don't even want to say that. But referee Paul Turner immediately jumps on him. We're done. He just calls it. We're done. We're done. We're done. Match ends quickly. Doc Samson jumps into the ring. The crowd just doesn't know what to think. Moxley's reluctant. Doesn't know what to do as well. Just kind of backs off and eventually asks for a mic. The cameras then keep cutting to commentary, to Moxley, back to commentary. They talk about Rampage this week, and like they don't want to show Page. And that, along with them loosening the bottom ropes when they're pulling him out of the ring on a stretcher, led me to know this is real. This is not a storyline just to not beat Page. Commentary, you could tell they're shaken up because they don't know what to think as well. Taz says you never want to see a competitor get hurt. John Moxley took the microphone and said that he hopes and prays Hangman Page can walk. And I go, whoa, wait, it's that serious? He says, I hope and pray he can walk, talk, and play with his child again. Moxley said you need to have guts to play the game every time out. Since the Yankees didn't go long, they have time left, whatever. Yeah, he calls out MJF. MJF then storms down to the ring with his, chip. He's got Bryce Remsburg, the referee, and basically makes it look like he's about to cash in. Grabbed a microphone and said he'll cash in on Moxley, but when Moxley's 110%, not tonight. He said, I want no excuses, and I want to earn it when I beat you at Full Gear. He screamed at Regal and said, for the first time in his career, I will earn this. Moxley then said a bunch of curse words that they bleeped out, I think. He then said something about the microphone not working. But he said MJF will earn he'll earn my boot down his throat when I kick his head off like a Pez dispenser at Full Gear. Then they'll find out what MJF is really made of. And it's dangerous whenever you step in the ring with Moxley. So that's how the show went off the air. Again, no update on Hangman Page. Is there an update on your mic working? You good? Still can't hear you. Let me try something. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I heard like static from your end, and then you cut out right before you started moving. Yeah, we lost you. I don't know. Unfortunately. Here, we're going to try something. Exit the Discord call and just retry the call. See if that helps. See if you can jump back in. Maybe I have to recall him.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There we go. You got camera? There we go.
Yeah.
Yep, that worked. We're good. Thoughts on we talked about the finish and the whole Hangman thing, but your thoughts on the match itself outside of Hangman possibly being hurt?
I mean, it started off like really cool, like Hangman just going up to Mox and just beating the crap out of him. I thought that was really cool. And like the ending where like MJF was coming out, you know, he could have like cashed in like if he wanted to, but he was just making it seem like, you know what? Like I want you like when you're like good to go. Right now you're not like 100%. I want you like 110%.
Right.
So I want to fight you at Full Gear when we're like both ready to go.
Yeah, that surprised me, the line he used of I want to earn it. But it didn't surprise me that he didn't cash in because I was watching with a buddy and MJF runs down and they go, oh, it's a fake cash in. It's a fake cash in watch. And of course it was. But I did not expect him to go, I want to earn it this time. And I go, oh, this is a different MJF. Regal got into him and really made him think, you know what? Because here's how I'm taking it. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it. But maybe Regal is making him think for people to take me serious and a legit, top guy world champion, I got to actually earn this and not, weasel my way into this or into the belt like I've done in the past. So I wouldn't say he's turning babyface, but it's more of we're going to actually see a legit MJF in this fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And maybe like I honestly kind of feel like maybe he's probably just gonna like step away from the firm as well.
Well, they already teased that when he he told Stokely Hathaway, basically, you guys keep messing up, third strike, you're out. But B, the other thing that I found weird that they didn't ever acknowledge. So 2 weeks ago, Jon Moxley took on Nick Gage for the GCW title, and the Firm actually screwed Moxley out of that match. Well, they never mentioned it on AEW television with them being like, hey, look, we're helping you. We're getting under the skin of Jon Moxley, but no, nothing. Like, why have, and there's a lot with that whole thing of why the Firm was involved and Moxley having to drop the GCW title and all that we can get into in another time, but Brett Lauderdale not happy with all that. But it's like, why have the Firm go out there and do actually something AEW storyline wise and not even mention it on the show? But, whatever. I think the match will be really good at the pay-per-view, though. And it's the only match so far announced for the pay-per-view.
So when is Full Gear?
November 19th, I want to say. Give me 2 seconds and I can tell you. Shoo. November 19th, which is a Saturday, November 19th.
I mean, yeah, this will be like a fun match. And honestly, you have to have MJF win.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, so MJF's contract doesn't expire until 2024.
Correct.
AEW, like, has time, like, make this guy happy to where he's like, you know what? As long as the money is right up to, like, my standard, like, I'll resign.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Make him happy now. That way he knows, hey, we're serious about how we're going to use you. That was AEW Dynamite. Now my question is, of whatever you saw on NXT, what stood out to you?
I was honestly very surprised that Shinsuke Nakamura was on the show.
So was I. News came out like 5 minutes before it that Nakamura may be on the show, and then, well, he appeared.
Yeah, and I also thought, I didn't watch the full match, but I thought, Cameron Grimes and the Good Brothers against the Dyad was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good match. That was the only match that I actually saw the whole match of on NXT. But I saw that, and then I saw most of the main event segment, the Kevin Owens show thing, which, interestingly, Austin Theory showed up at the end and teased possibly cashing in his briefcase on the NXT title, which I wouldn't be against. I think that would be the least way. If they really want him to have a successful cash-in, that'd be the least way to piss off the fans. But honestly, I still think he should fail, because we haven't had a fail in 5 years since Baron Corbin last was Mr. Money in the Bank.
Did Braun Strowman also have like a sort of fail cash in?
I don't think.
He did, because he kind of like cashed in his briefcase so he can face Roman at Hell in a Cell, and like he lost the match.
Well, actually, he technically, to get that match, relinquished his briefcase. I thought it was. I didn't. That's the thing. I always thought he had relinquished the briefcase.
He did.
Let me see. I'm reading here from WWE's website. Braun Strowman agreed to cash in Money in the Bank contract at Hell in a Cell. It says, yeah, no, this really doesn't say much. But yeah, he kind of like relinquished the title. Or not the title, but the contract. Like, I'm going to really, hold on, I got a video here I can watch right here, the whole segment. But as far as what I liked on NXT, the main event stuff with Kevin Owens, I liked that because basically they said Shawn Michaels called Kevin Owens to hold the peace, I guess you could say. All right, I'm watching this right here. Strowman told, this was when Corbin was in control of Raw. He said, here's my briefcase. I don't need this. Oh, okay. So he had like earned a number one contendership thing. So said, I don't need the briefcase. I already got my title shot. That's what it was. Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, nothing super, what's the word I'm looking for? Standout from what I saw on NXT. Other than they did announce that Shotzi will be the host of Halloween Havoc. I don't know why I couldn't say Havoc. And
I would
also,
assume they probably.
go for it.
I would assume they probably just use her to like come out and like spin the wheel.
But I feel like they already spun it because we know that Cora versus Roxanne was spin the wheel, make a deal. And now we already know that, yeah, because I think Grayson Waller spun it. And so we now know that they're in the Weapons Wild match or whatever.
I mean, yeah, maybe if there's like a match that they want to add a stipulation to it.
Possibly. But we also, go for it.
Maybe like, for example, like Apollo versus Grayson, maybe.
Yeah,
that night's like, oh, spin the wheel, make a deal.
That match does still need a stipulation. But some of the main rosters people, we saw Rhea Ripley beat Roxanne Perez, but Cora Jade and Raquel Rodriguez was a disqualification when Rodriguez hit Jade with the kendo stick and the ref called for the DQ. So, I mean, what I saw wasn't bad. I didn't see a lot of it because I focused more on watching Dynamite. So I just thought if there was anything that we saw. But I would say if you want to get hyped up for the main event of the pay-per-view, I would go watch the main event segment, the Kevin Owens show thing, because I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a good segment. But as far as everything else does go, now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's show. Remember, you can text in to 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. First off, before we get to the text messages, I do want to check the polls as far as the Twitch poll does go. Looks like 100% of you like tonight's AEW Dynamite. Moving over to the Twitter poll. 72% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like Dynamite. Finally, the YouTube poll, 65% liked Dynamite, 65% liked it, 19% didn't, and 16% thought it was just all right. As far as the text messages go, pull them up here. Only got one. It says, who do you think walks out NXT champion with a looming Austin Theory? Also, is Tony Khan trying to break up multiple teams? Well, not going to give you our predictions for Halloween Havoc because, well, those predictions should be up on the channel tomorrow. Yet, as far as TK trying to break up teams, no. I don't know. Unless you're talking about Death Triangle, I don't think so. Maybe just a little kind of the Death Triangle thing. Maybe the only way of maybe finally ending that trio. We'll see. I don't know. But I don't think he's trying to break up multiple teams. No.
I mean, we've seen something like that, like in the past for AEW, and didn't really speculate to anything.
Exactly. So,
like for example, like when Swerve eliminated Keith Lee in that like Battle Royal, like a lot of people thought like, oh, we're gonna get Swerve versus Keith Lee right away. No.
Nope. Swerve both of them have brought it up, but it's never led to anything. But with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining us here, whether you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or if you're watching later, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or listening on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Tomorrow, there's nothing. Dynamite was tonight, so we're not live on Wednesday this week, but I'll be back live Friday morning with the wrestling wrap-up. Then I'll be live again Friday night for Friday Night SmackDown. As far as Halloween Havoc does go, our predictions should be up tomorrow, yet the review will not be Saturday night. I'm going to review it Sunday morning. My son has a football game Saturday night that I have to be at. So Sunday morning, we'll be live here on Twitch talking about Halloween Havoc. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.